right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that are calling via phone, *6 is the way to mute your phone. So if you are not muted, if you could go ahead and do *6 on your phone. That way, like I said, it keeps you muted, and that way everybody else can hear. My name is Megan Swisher. For those of you who I don't know, I am currently on the myPATH project. Previously, I was with the Bureau of Individual Taxes as the director. The purpose of today's webinar is actually to go
We can't hear you. Hello, we can't hear you.
Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay. So the purpose of today's webinar, as I was mentioning, is to go through our new e-services site called myPATH. This is being launched as part of our new modernized tax system. We are implementing our new modernized tax system called PATH, and with that, it offers an e-services portal. We go live on October 15th with our new tax system. We've talked about this with the registers over the last year. So while we'll have some new processing features, we've talked about our forms changes, we also have this new e-services feature. So this is actually currently live on our website with our Rollout 1 taxes, which were motor and alternative fuel taxes. We will also have this go live with our Rollout 3 taxes, which will be personal income tax. So what we did for inheritance and really transfer taxes is we actually offered services for the Register of Wills and the Recorder of Deeds. So I'll just, like I said, go through and demonstrate some of the services that are going to be offered. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually log in as if I'm a Register of Wills. So when you come to this screen, which is the one that's up here, it's going to ask for your username and password. I should mention also that as you have questions, you can go ahead and type in questions throughout the webinar. We will take your questions throughout the webinar, but we're not going to answer them until the end. So we're going to be writing them down, and then at the end, I'll go ahead and go through each of the questions and answer them. If you're on the phone and you're not participating via the webinar, if you don't have a way to type in questions, we can go through and I'll answer them verbally. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, type in the username and password. On October 15th, we'll be generating letters to each of the 67 counties. Those letters will contain your username and a temporary password. So when you access myPATH for the first time, you can type in your username and your temporary password, and you will be actually prompted to change your password at that point. The welcome letter will contain a direct link to the website. However, you can get to myPATH directly from our homepage. We do require multi-factor authentication with myPATH. The first time you log into myPATH via a device, it will ask you to do an authentication code. This will be a one-time only once you log in from a device for the first time. Once you say that this is a trusted browser, though, you won't have to do the authentication code. Okay, so as a Register of Wills, every time you log in, this will be basically your home screen. In your home screen, in the left-hand corner, you have your login information, which is obviously your name, your email address, your telephone number. If you have any alerts, that'll display under the alert screen. If we had sent you any messages, if you have any letters that are available, this will post under your alerts. The I Want To section is pretty much quick access hyperlinks. If you want to send an email message to the department, which is a secure method to do that, you can click on the Send Us a Message link. That will actually come directly into a department employee via myPATH. Under here, we have several tabs of items that you can do, which we'll talk about. We'll go into more detail throughout the demonstration. And then this is your accounts that you have. So you have a Register of Wills County Collections account. This is actually where you can go in and file your monthly county collections report electronically with us. So within the county collections account, you actually have your bank account information. This is the bank account that you receive your county collections electronically from us. These are the monthly direct deposits that you receive from us. Through myPATH, you can actually update your bank account information if you want to. So if you change your bank account that you receive your monthly direct deposits, you can actually update that information. So I just selected the county collections account, and I'm going to, what I want to do now is actually update my bank account information. So once I selected that hyperlink, I'm now within my county collections account. Again, you have a similar screen where you have the information about the account. This is the county register of wills. This is your account number. This is a number that's assigned by the department to that account. My alerts is that I have to file my county collections report for the month of October. And again, here's your quick access links. Under I want to, there's this option to change my banking information. So I'm going to go ahead and select this link. So here it says I can enter new banking information. You'll notice that the banking information is currently blank. The banking information is not displayed for security purposes. So you'll notice that we don't display what the bank account is that the department currently has on file for your office. So if you don't know what bank account we currently have on file and you need that information, you can certainly contact Raquel later. However, if you want to update the new information, you can do that here. So I'm going to go ahead and update the information. You'll notice when I typed in the routing number, the bank name automatically populated because we have a financial institution database that we know all of the routing numbers automatically. I'm going to type in the bank account number. And then I'm going to click on Submit. It's going to ask me if I'm sure that I want to submit this request. I'm going to click OK. It will provide me a confirmation number. This is my proof that I did submit the request to update my bank account information. You'll have this confirmation number as proof. If you need to contact the department, if the bank account information did not get updated, you will have this for your records. You can also print this if you want a copy of that. So the next thing we're going to do is actually file our monthly report for the October period. So I'm going to click OK. As I had mentioned, there's an account alert section that says I need to file my return for the October period. So I'm going to go ahead and select that link from here. You'll notice this is basically a screen version of the paper report that we currently have. You'll see there's entries for the lien filing fees, the citation fees, etc. These are all the areas that you would enter. I'm going to go ahead and enter some values. As most of you know, the department does require the supporting documentation to be included with your monthly filings. So we do have the ability for you to include electronic attachments with this. So if you can scan your documentation or include an Excel spreadsheet, this is where you would do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add. I'm going to choose a file that is saved on my computer. We do require a description. If I wanted to view the documentation before I submitted the report, I would do so by selecting this link. I'm going to click on the Save button now. It's going to ask me if I'm sure that I just want to save it and come back to edit it later. I'm going to click on OK. So if I wanted to, I could have submitted it at this point, or I can save it. So if you don't want to submit at the time you're working on it, you can save it, or you can submit it at that time. I'm going to go ahead and go back here to my draft submissions just to show that I can go ahead and go back in and edit my submission. You'll see my numbers. If I wanted to edit any of these numbers, and I'm going to go ahead and submit this at this time. Again, you have your confirmation number. This is your number verifying that the report was submitted. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. You'll see again, this is showing as submitted. This is your confirmation number and the date and time that it was submitted. So again, I'd like to go in now and print my report that I just submitted. I'm going to go to Settings. Okay. I'm going to go to View Submission. Now I'm going to go to Settings.
Printing. View.
Now I'm going to right-click. I'm going to select Print. And you'll see this is a view of the return. From here, you can actually print, or you could save it as a PDF on your PC if you'd like. So this is an actual copy of the return that you can then save for your records. Okay, so the next feature we wanted to show is how you can submit receipts via myPATH. We are aware that many counties that use vendors such as Landex or CoFile, those type of companies that submit receipts electronically and the estate creates electronically. However, we did want to offer a service via myPATH that you can submit receipts manually or via a file upload. Even if you are using a vendor, you can use this manual method as well. So if you wanted to submit a one-off receipt, or if you're a county that doesn't use a vendor and you have a few receipts that you wanted to submit, or if you wanted to try this, you can do this. So I'm going to go back into my county collections account. And again, in this What I Want To section, you have your submit receipts, submit estate information sheets, as well as submit decedent records. I'm going to go ahead and select the submit receipts hyperlink. Again, the first thing it's going to ask you is, would you like to upload a receipt file? So I could select to upload a receipt file. I'm going to select yes. I'm going to select no, that I'm not using the newest file layout. As we had mentioned in the Register of Wills conference recently, we had said we are changing the file layouts, but we are still accepting the old file layouts. So you have the option of using the new file layouts or the old file layouts through this method as well. So I am saying that I'm not using the newest file layout. I'm going to select next. I'm going to choose file. And again, I have this file saved on my computer. I'm going to select open. I had this saved as a text file. When I selected open, it populated all of the receipts that I had in my file on this screen. So I can now view all of the receipts that were included with my file on the screen itself. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. I'm going to click submit receipts now. Again, you'll receive a confirmation number. As well, you can print this confirmation number for your records. All right, the next thing we're going to do is submit estate information sheets. Instead of submitting a file for this, we're actually going to key these. I'm going to select no. I'm going to select the next button. I'm going to select the Add a Decedent Record hyperlink, and it's going to open up the screen for all the different fields that need to be entered. You'll see that this system was built with requirements as far as how fields need to be validated. I obviously just entered my date of death incorrectly. So now I'm going to use the drop-down to ensure that I enter the date correctly. Going to enter the correspondent information. had any other additional records, I would go ahead and add decedent record at the bottom here. If I decided I didn't like this decedent record, I could go ahead and click on the delete decedent record as well. At this point, if I wanted to add representatives, I could add the number of representatives here. I'm going to go ahead and click the submit button. Click OK. And again, you'll receive a confirmation number. The next thing, we'll go ahead and submit decedent records. We're going to, again, manually key these records. Pretty much the minimum information that we need for a decedent record. I'm going to select submit. I'm going to click on OK. And again, you'll receive your confirmation code. So the next feature that we're going to go ahead and show is how you'll grant third-party access or access to your account for other people within your office. So we do know a lot of this work will not be done just by the register. So you'll want to have other people within your office be able to access this information or submit these items on your behalf. So once you first log on, you'll then be able to go in and send a request for other people to access the account. So I just went ahead and clicked on settings, and then within settings, you're going to click on third-party access.
Additional logons.
Here's where I'm going to add in the additional logon. So you'll want your additional people within your office to create logons. They'll want to give you their user ID. So you'll type in the user ID here, their email address, and the type of access you're going to be granting them. Click on the next button. I did not type the email addresses correctly. So here's where you're going to go ahead and actually grant the access. So I want to grant them the access to the county collections account. You can have them have the ability to file the returns, the county collections returns, or just view the returns. So you may have some people within your office that you just want them to be able to view your returns, some people that just want to file returns. You'll receive a message that they've been given access, and they'll receive an email that gives them instructions then how to log in and accept that access. But finally, a feature that we wanted to show everybody is that we're offering the ability to view the status of an inheritance tax return on our website. This is actually open to all taxpayers. That we're hoping that the Register of Wills would actually advertise for us. You'll also be able to use this feature. So again, when you come to the myPATH homepage, you don't even need to log on. You'll see this is here. And in the middle here, you'll see I want to as well. And down here, there's this link that says, where's my inheritance tax return? So a lot of times we get the calls that somebody has filed a tax return with the Register of Wills office and they don't hear anything from the state until they get their assessment. So they want to know, does the state have my return? Does the state have my return? So we're hoping this service kind of solves that issue. So what they'll do is they'll come in here and type in the decedent last name. They'll have to select whether or not they were a resident or a non-resident. This service will give a status if they're a resident or a non-resident. We're going to say, yes, they were a resident, and they'll have to provide the decedent's Social Security number. Here you'll see it says the return has been received, and the review will take place within 6 months of the date received. So basically this means the department has received the return and that they should receive their assessment within 6 months. So this hopefully will prevent the back and forth between the department and the Register of Wills, whether or not the department has the return or the register has submitted the return. This feature is only available for original estate account returns and doesn't actually provide a status for supplemental or transferee returns. So that pretty much concludes all the features we wanted to demonstrate today. So I guess we will go through the questions now because it looks to me like we got a lot of questions.
One of the questions was, can they enter or can they upload the state information records from the co-file system?
So the question is, so it looks like the question was, can you import estate information sheets from the co-file system? So there is, so we are working with co-file to transmit to us electronically. If you want to drop the file upload from co-file through myPATH, you will be able to do that, but we will need to test with you to do that. But we are actively testing with them to transmit files to us directly. The question is, does this replace the RSFT submission that they currently do online? And yes, this does not replace RSTF submissions. However, we are replacing RSTF with a secure FTP process. We are actively working with all of the vendors and testing with the vendors for replacement of RSTF, or it's actually RSFT.
The credit memo question, I think it's about like adjusting SAP.
Yeah. So credit memos, I think, I'm not sure what you're asking about credit memos. I'm trying to look through the question.
Just what about entering credit?
No, so there is not an ability for us to provide you credit memos. we send you the credit memo to give us a receipt. However, if we send you a credit memo and you want to submit a receipt through myPATH after we give you the credit memo, you could do that through here. If that's what you're asking. Credit memo is spelled in on the state report.
So if they have adjustments, they can include that on the...
Yes. So yes, the credit memos can be included on the state report that you file through myPATH. So any adjustments that are made on your state report by us, you will see it the next month. Oh, you didn't see it? Is that what you're saying? Okay. I guess I can log back in.
Same exact location as is on that page, right?
Yeah, it should be in the same exact location. Let me log back in and see if I can find it.
Or it doesn't.
Oh. Yeah. What is it?
Here it is. Right there. Credit memorandums.
That's what I thought. I see it. Yeah, is this, I'm assuming this is the line you're looking for? Okay, excellent. So the entry for the non-resident, I believe, is the entry where we deduct when you, so when we find that there was a receipt accepted for a non-resident tax return, and then we deduct that from your collections. So if you've had a commission, if you've accepted a commission for a non-resident payment, we make that deduction. The month end, no, you will not be able. So the month end reports, you will not be able to upload those. You would have to still key those in here. You are not able to submit the REV 713 Orphan Corpse reports currently. That will be available in the future, though.
The day that's submitted is the day that we get the receipt.
No, the inheritance tax returns. Somebody asked if a date could be included when we receive the inheritance tax return. We can look into that. Somebody asked the question, what is RSFT? It was the Revenue Secure File Transfer System. It was the system that was built for the county vendors to submit the estate creates and the payment receipts electronically to us. The question about, is this mandatory or optional? It is completely optional. However, it will allow for the reports, the monthly reports, to get processed quicker. The question about manually keyed in transfer errors, certainly Again, this is completely optional and up to you if you want to use it or not. What is the status of the new create decedent testing back and forth with our vendors? Which vendors are you using? And we're actively testing with all vendors. Landex, we are actively testing with Landex. And Perry County was the first county that they tested. Can we continue to email as we are now? If you're emailing your county report, I'm assuming you can. I also wanted to mention we are recording this webinar, and it will be emailed out. I will send it out through the president of the association that they can distribute it out to all of the registers, if anybody wants to reference it again. And obviously everybody has my contact information. And Heidi's contact information if there's any further questions that anybody comes up with later on. But if there's no further questions for right now, if there's nothing else that I can demonstrate, we can certainly give everybody back some more of their time for the afternoon. All right, well, thank you very much. Oh, one more. Did you need the pages currently included? Do you need the pages currently included with the month and inheritance tax detail report by day? Yes, we do currently still need the detail. It's my understanding, though, a spreadsheet is accepted. The question about when would we be submitting decedent records. Decedent records are accepted in lieu of the information, estate information sheets. You will not receive printed instructions on how to use the system. However, we will be posting step-by-step instructions. Anything else? All right, thank you guys. You guys have been a very interested group, and I really appreciate all of your support during this transition. Have a good afternoon.